We're going to have a panel discussion, a 1-hour panel discussion on dependent origination. And I'd like to start off by introducing the monastic graduates that will be on this panel. You've already heard from them a little bit in the session after lunch, but let's give a warm welcome each to, first starting with Geshe Lobsang Wangchuk. Geshe Siring Topten. Sukpu Chigme. Lopon Sonam Wangdu. Chogel. And Geshe Sonam Tempel, who will, I believe, start us off. Oh, he has the home crowd advantage because he's the teacher at Chandra School, right? Okay, yeah. Geshe-la, please, he will give a short, about 10-minute introduction to the Buddhist perspective on dependent origination.
Samala touch delay.
We will say a little bit about interconnectedness and dependent origination.
The
reason why we chose this topic is that it seems that a lot of Buddhists and scientists have something to say about this topic.
So
from Buddhist point of view, the 2,500 years back, Buddha said that those who have understood the concept of dependent origination has understood my teaching, and those who understood my teaching has understood me. Yeah. Yes, see me, saw me. Yeah.
Taking the loja ha sangan de kidu jeja dunji tengune kidu gujanga chengar ba chuin sinri ban keji ayin siti jija misa tije mai kodun wejin josi de munjaya zumon zu tebi chutu delu thmi me tena pana da ti tewi chi tanjin ta tu na tije jrang yin sen chi tanje ane tende yin chi son.
Then also in science, the famous scientist Albert Einstein, he talks about the relative nature of time and the speed of light and space itself.
Ona tende heba de kanda hila nginzeng ga sa hina tenang gombol du je kanji tenju mai bi chinga yo mai no hi som batar.
So when we talk about dependent origination, the famous Buddhist scholar Nagarjuna said that there is no phenomena that is not dependently originated.
Jiten kanji chi dang chi khanda kan ru rangi ne me ba rangi ngo ne troba na yin la tin jo ge ba hila tende ser.
So there is no phenomena that is independently existing. Everything comes in connection with everything else.
Tende la yena jinde tende da tene tambe tende so mambo yo ba yin.
So broadly, we can divide this concept of dependent origination into two categories. The concept of causality, law of causality, and this concept of what you call designated phenomena, designation.
Jinde tende la daja ge tembe kan de mari bi chin dije ane shevi chi ga che che ane kun nyomo sho je tende jang khoang khos ge tende ga na ya chi da ane kan de mari bi chin dije ane ju ju ba shevi chin ga che che tende yin la kun nyomo sho je tende yin la chu nyi go ne ane ro na khoang khos je rum ba chi da.
Then also in Buddhism, because of our ignorance, through ignorance and through what we call 12 links of dependent origination, it talks about how we end up in the cyclic existence of samsara or the world systems.
Te yin kam mari banga bin dijin gabane Kyuki ba shiang gabi, Juni ba gahin gabi, bar ane, Naja Shuji Tindrik, Angi ane Kualne, toy rumbi naja shu tende kite.
So in this two dependent links from ignorance to enlightenment, that we talk about how we are born in a kind of a connected causal relation.
Tende mambo yana tirin dodi tan jun pe na jun de cha control sole drib mendo bi dunga da ju shamba da nyinje pense sol drib dewan jo ta bade ani jinde tende ins.
Then also like we can talk about how these three root negative emotions will give rise to destructive mental states or the sufferings, and also how these positive mental states will lead to happiness. And the idea of these things comes also in the category of this law of causality.
Tene dabi tene ne parla tene tsirta dala tene ni yinla tene da so ta bin.
Then there are another set of phenomena which we call designated phenomena. For example, because of the existence of something that is on the right, we talk about the existence of something that is on the left. So the idea of right and left, or the height and low, are also based on the existence of other one. So it's very important to understand this concept of law of causality or the dependent origination. So reason why we say that the concept of dependent origination is important, it is because that if you don't understand the law of causality, then you will have a kind of a distorted view about yourself, thinking that you exist independently. And that comes from the thought of ignorance, and the ignorance will lead to other negative emotions like anger, attachment, and then it will lead to suffering and things like that, negative things in us and others. So if these negative emotions will not only give us suffering and suffering to this life, but also it will act as a hindrance to achieve nirvana or liberation or enlightenment.
Pena jagada yilnu chilu sopa mage par nyoda jimaje ba shwande so chila chitin jitu pam tende mahiba an shwai.
We think that all the problems that crops up in different parts of the world are because of the lack of understanding of this interconnected nature of all of us.
Tena tembi si chin thongde sanjin thongwa shi dang gombol lüde teje tomba mayimbi kinga yoba mayinde hi sumbatar nambi neka dan thadu gi dewa thobala chi thanji tenjin renjung chane rangi ne mebi tomba ni hije de kachi hi sunyas.
So as I have said before, Buddha, right from the beginning, when he said that those who understood this idea of dependent origination has understood my teaching, and also when Nagarjuna said that there is no phenomena that is not dependently arised or arising. Without understanding this nature of interconnectedness or the law of dependent origination, we believe that we cannot achieve long-lasting happiness. So this, the realization of this nature is also, we can talk, when we talk about method and wisdom in Buddhist traditions, and the understanding of this dependent origination is considered as the part of wisdom.
Dordina padi chijrabi nde isumbe chanjeba ngelangaya nyenkor me heda kati rindon tsina tsukyu shagyo timba chi hi zo shi zujin la jeba mamba 란다 도지 되니는 타다 제바 린제바히 센지 란도지 솔라 쪼지니 문제비 세다다 대화 튼타 신기 남바타.
So basically, Geshe-la cites some quotation by which he is basically saying, when we talk about, it is because of this importance of understanding interdependent origination for removing suffering and ignorance, even in terms of achieving omniscience. Dharmakirti clearly mentions that omniscience does not necessarily mean knowing everything, but it is primarily decided based upon knowing what is to be adopted and what is to be discarded.
시 주진지 니비티 트찬다 폰준 로단라 쪼지니 지신 견제다 젠라 동랑 소지 라중군 코유 바조 조진 코유 조알렌로와 생진라 강아 영화신기 신리바다 닝기 동아 탄지 디르지 나자 메히베 민동아지 아니 조인 번더바 진승인.
The problems that many of the problems that we face today in terms of environmental problems, in terms of social problems, these are all crop up because of our lack of knowledge about this interconnected nature.
대나 시인이 보여야지 친도 중에 라나 미빈 친리바다 나기 시비 빠연라 시비 남바 닝기 시비 띠르지 나야데 시바 세데 치신 손제죠 돈이 마오랑 예군지 동아 세다다 대시다 시데 좀발은 베로히시지.
Both Buddhist community and also the scientific community, it is very important to understand how things are interconnectedness, and through that understanding, we hope that we work together to promote happiness and betterment of all of us.
네 사말을 딱 딜레.
Just let.
I want to maybe start off with, we already have many questions. I'm already intimidated. That's the emotion I'm feeling by all these great questions here. And some of them are quite similar, so I'm going to try to synthesize one. And actually, Matthew and Sudhir, maybe both of you can try to address this. Is it possible to have mixed feelings at a time, such as greediness, and with its antidote, contentment? Or so could you actually feel greediness and contentment both at the same time? That's one question.
One year, Tangshan Tiwa Kashi Kuya Kokabdigis, Chazadadi, Tanda, Matthew, the Ane Galaporan to Suk, Langana, Tixares, Chazatiwaji Kardus Lavim Bena, Ane Simjung, Go Mandawani, Ane Tuchigla, Ane Yam to Kia Yorves, Pecha Shavimbena, Ane Ta Dungam Da, and Dungam Ki, Ane Nyambo Choshewa insert, that Dini, Tuchigla, Ane Kia Yorves, that's Ane Tiwadus.
And the other question that's along the same lines is it possible to feel both happiness and sadness? For example, we might be happy that we're going off to study at a place, but also sad that we're going to be missing our family. So is it possible to feel both these emotions at the same time?
Dida rig dawe tiwa shimbaji khadus lavim bena gawa da duwa ninga ani tunyam du kya yorwes lobjun chiya khokab ragi yobi chane ani gawa chiya da ani thiring nangla pamaksal loya mara wi ki jumzen le den ani duwa yuya den gadu ni tunyam du kya den yorwes. Second Saturday.
In psychoanalysis, there's a concept called ambivalence. So two opposite feelings at the same time. But it is not exactly the same moment. You can't have the same moment. But over a period of time, you can have love and hate for the same person. And you always see it often in case of children and parents. I mean, you're hating your mother, father, at the same time you're loving. So that is very much possible. In fact, all very strong emotions, in psychoanalysis, one always suspects if there's a strong emotion that there is maybe an opposite one also at work there. So whenever there's something very strong, then the suspicion is that there is an opposite emotion which is there. Also, we have what is called something called secondary gain. And that is that if somebody is, say, lying down and very depressed, he or she also has some gain from that. What is he or she gaining from that? Now, it may be, person was never looked after, now everyone is coming, oh, you poor thing, and paying you attention. So that is called the secondary gain of illness. So in many cases, when you see someone very unhappy, or etc., and keeps on being in that, there is something which he or she is also getting from it, and your task is to find out what he or she is getting out of. Otherwise, you'd see why he or she is in this situation when you can get out of it. But there's always something, the opposite part, which is also available.
Kita ngaju tani peju chira ton keja shi yunju zambala ane gadu ninga nyamdu je yobe keja shidan do dine she yores tak ina ya ane tu nyamdu tu jigla ane dinde ki ane simjung dojo ni je yorebesla na ane ge yomardas kuni kazes ki ane ta nyewo yobi mena ane tu ki parcho do yores ngagi shor do yores dinde yungu yores cheta diladu zambala ani jiga kabre ani gawe ada ani tuzu tunduji jela ya kyo ada dinde remote ne ani lebya dinde yongsi yores pecha chana ta phamad pu lubdu dunzo yimbe na kranzo ke phamad dunzo kabre ani jiga jingi yobe so do kabre ya chambu chigi yobe so do dinde ani jiga simzor sigirwa dinde ane dojo ni jig jela jig ane tunyam du yobe soro ta nyam du yobe soro jig jela tunya dinde yongsi yores cheta dinde ne dan di manzu gi ane ta simgam kro da nalol ke je sigires tanga na shi en nganzu ki simgam ro da nalol ke je simbaji khar sigires labim bena jig jina ane bu khashi khar sigires labim bena ane sal ri che ane ngures Those mudu zambala ane ko shiuchi ane dungenyu yawado kyodo ko kyo shiuchi imba do sorgo yordin imbena ko namju ki ane ngazu dungen ngos nyongchi nguya dinde ro cha de yamares ko miyu de kar yores labi imbena nyamba jiraya che dungu yores cheza ko sal nya da ane riya da nguya chi yordine di kapsla ane samlu ki netan di ya shimbaji yores
dada tiwa shimbadi doba chewa da chok sheba ni di do sles 이마에서 지난 심중 셰바치 이콜 심중 리다미다와 용초그레 가이즈나 가족이 남규셰디라 군도시디 삼발에 셈규규 코르도 도베나 군도스는 이거라 이마에서 셰바치 소심치기 콜라 심중 아니 릭만도와 망고 용초그레 데이나야 진다 미튠바 니 냠도 촌이 고 말해서 나 남규슈니 송당 어디래 돼요 이마에서 심중치기 콜라 셰바 칼라 조심치기 콜라 셰바 민도와 예스 대바 준주 템발에 중요로와 용교열에 이나야 단다딜라 대바체와다 촉셰발에 디니니 보티 베트코라 카가르도 찍라 수술라 딜레가 망아 건데로와 다가 딕송 삼바티다 나 딜레 망아 고 삼바니 보티 뒤찍라 냠도 교니 용사라고 말했어 베나체나 디리제 용고랑 가지고 파샤나 부구디 존다라게 로다게 부구레 타지도 하고니 되라 그게 줄라 디부디 전달을 보고 말이 있으면 로디 촌이 용사라고 말해. 가이스나 군인이 보디 배도거나 지난 가가 차되어라. 직레 삼겨레 직 말이 삼겨라. 레 삼바다 말이 삼바니 보디 강사 고랑기 뒤냠돌 촌이 고 말해. 마이자 단다딜라 여바체와다 초셰발라스도와 어디니 보디 강사 직이 단다 강사 수샤나 뒤질레 촌이 용사라고 말했어.
So from Buddhist point of view also, we cannot have two opposing consciousness or mental states pop up together. But the thing is that, as we have said before, you can have 2 or 3 or 5 different mental factors manifesting simultaneously. So that's why we have these 5 omnipresent mental factors. These 5 omnipresent mental factors are always there in any states of the mind, any moment of the thought. But when we talk about the greed or greediness or the containment, these are not only like mental factors. These are like what called mental consciousness, or like social mental consciousness, regular mental consciousness, and you cannot have these two mental consciousness emerging simultaneously. And so for kind of a more easier example, if there's a student and if you ask whether that student is from TCV Chondara or not, and at one moment they can have a thought saying that, oh, he or she is from TCV Chondara, and then you may have another thought saying that, oh, she or she is not from, he or she is from TCV Chondara, or he or she is not from TCV Chondara. But these two things cannot, thoughts cannot come together.
I would say that this, for me, this brings up, I do think that there are mixed emotions similar to the psychoanalytic perspective. I think we've all had that experience of feeling both a little happiness, a little sadness at the same time. And what this brings up for me is I think we're talking about two different things here. One is the thoughts that contribute to the emotions we have, and one is the emotions themselves. And so the idea being that a lot of the thoughts that lead to emotions, a lot of the beliefs we have, they're not provable. They're not things that we can know for sure is true or not true. For example, if I think Bryce is a good person, Bryce is a bad person, I can hold both those thoughts in my head, even though I do think he's a good person. I can have this ambivalence because it's not necessarily provable to me in any given moment that he is one or the other. I might just go back and forth and see different actions lead to different things. And for that, I might have different emotions arise towards Bryce and have this mixed emotional experience. I would say that we really need to, Western psychology separates the beliefs and the goals and these things that lead to emotions, which are the things that happen in a moment, that occur in our bodies, that occur momentarily and drive us to do certain actions. And by doing that, I think we can look at this as, we can view the complexity of emotions and see how they're very complex phenomenon.
So that means you can have two different emotions at the same time,
I would say,
two different thoughts, right?
I think you can actually have two different thoughts also, but I think that what the example that was brought up was more of a concrete thing, like this is hard or this is not hard. Well, that's provable. I can just see right now this is hard. But whether somebody's good or bad, or whether something's going to happen to me in the future that I'm afraid about, maybe it will, maybe it won't, I can't prove that. And so I can hold these different things in my head at the same time and have ambivalence about them.
Chedang zo ani nubjo ki ani semgam rikba nang lo limbi me na ani thought la du zambal nang zo nam ki tokpa da dine gyurga yo tokpa si chig da ani emotion se du zambal semzor si gena nyongzor si ni ani thade shagires ani samlo ki nang lo la shar de ni ki tokpa denzu ki khar chigires la bim be na ani semzor denzu che ju yo res ta semzor si gena re ta nyongzor si gena emotion zu che ju res emotion da ani semzor da nyongzor dende ke je she du zambal la denzu ani samlo ki nang lo ki yo de be ke ani tokpa zamji mai ba nganzu ki subu ki nang lo la ya chap di yo res cheda de la du zambal la ani nganzu subu cha yong ki nang lo la ani dewa da ani medewa ninga ani thunyam du ani sharia yo wa ke ya yo wa ani dende ani yong si res de la du zambal la ani thangmung yen khar ke shi kejeshi gu yores lavin bena ane thanda kunzu tokwa sia deda ane nyongzor sia dinini loga chia gu yores ta dila zamangi ane tokwa sia di thunyam de che yo marwes laimba ane tokwa sia di thunyam de che mewa sia di khakbo yores thanda kheranzu ki pesha dia di ane pesha shana ko ane tcv chondor ke pure mare sia ko soro da tigana shi di thakbo du ane thakbo mindu sia do ane bryce sia midi yakbo re ducha re sia denzo shedu sambala yakbo yin da ducha yin da ane labret khani yung luptu re mare ta thakbo yin me sia di tha chue yu jeba che yu thong ye yu tuen yu cha de yores cheza denzo ane ni ane thunyam du yin da yin ba da ma yin ba ning ga thunyam du ya den de yo mares ina khashi ane re da mare ke sansam kora ane seo me gyo den de yung yores cheza denzo cha denzo ane tema den de ane thunyam lo yo ya yo ke so do den de yores.
Just so I can clarify, some might say that when we're torn between two thoughts or two emotions, that we're sort of bouncing back and forth but we're bouncing back and forth between these so fast that it seems that we're experiencing them at the same time, but they're actually not happening at the same time. I think that might be a perspective of some people around here. Can you comment on that, just to be clear? Are you saying that they actually are happening simultaneously, or are you just sort of jumping back and
No,
forth?
I would say that it's more as you're saying. It's going back and forth between the two.
But so quickly and so rapidly that it seems that they're happening at the
There
same time.
there's a very interesting quotation somewhere in Buddhism which says that things move so fast that the fools think they are happening at the same time.
This is gila Quran khalas lavin bina ani kirang laya dis ani dendeki ani samlu denzu Quran ani uyu nizula ani tunyam lo chungu yore sigi yore yamena ani uyu nizula tunyam lo chungu mewe imbena tugi ani parchu che ngajele yungu yowe imbena yongya ke tuzu di ani jotawe wangi ani kirangi ani ha kutugu yomare siya dis sigi yore kar sigi yos sewo suna la so ani Qurangi tapeje kiran la gyo di dores la du zambala ani ko jotawe gumzen tene ani kiran la nang tu mares ngot tu mare ma to ya ani tunyam lo yungu yomare siya di ta tame dozi do insar
Pejanal dewa jukpa nyurche limbo da chikjar ni du tuwa is.
So I want to ask actually as many people as we can address this next question, which is related to the topic of this panel, and it's also a simple question, but a bold one too. What are the causes of emotions? And I would ask you to maybe think of if you can keep it short so we can let as many people share. But if you could say it briefly or succinctly, how would you describe the causes of emotion?
Chiza ani tiwadi ani gela number 2 su kile gane ani gaya yo wachikda ani len tundun gyaro chis gane gane denzo ani kharis labin bena thanda ani simzur se di ani gyu quality ni chungu yores di junin kharis se dire shas
Quickly, number one. Many causes and conditions. Past lives habit, you call it unconsciousness, whatever, past life habit. Then the cultural situations, changing events, so many factors are there. Deba nyongsor gi jungye gi ju khare sene ju thangle deba yorwa. Jewang me phakja. Ene khabdu gi sozo gi rishung raminda, namhi raminda, nyongwan raminda, thangle deba yosare.
I'd agree there's many different causes of emotions, and I'd say to summarize what they are, it's situations that are relevant to the concerns of a person. So it's the situation, and the concerns are the beliefs, they're the goals, they're the things that a person thinks, and those situations are relevant to those things, and out comes emotions.
Chiza da di jujin keje shebin bena na so jores keshila klaw na shi ani mangbu shu jores thang deba ina ya dezu sangma ani chogdum chebin bena ani nedan ni tola dutu gres chi khares lavin bena ani tandegi ani kabob ke ani nedan sig ne kuryu sig ne diche tega na shin kuryu din la yo debe ke ani khangsa quran ki ani samlu ke nang la rewa da ani dumba da ani iji khade sheme dil ra li gres chiza ta quran ki samlu ki ani rewa da dumba dinzul te che tanden kuryu di ki ani yanete tu du mendu chajen de twin tu du mendu dil te che ani ko ki ani samlu ke nang la ani tanda simzo dinzu che yung yores.
There's 2 questions here. One's from TCV Suja, one's from a student at TCV Chandra. And the student from TCV Chandra wants to know, what is the difference between reasonable fear and unreasonable fear? And the student from TCV Suja wants to know the difference between unreasonable fear and reasonable fear.
아니 제원이 두스 아니 제원직 가와는 레샤스 라빈베나 아니 쫀다라 표짐 클럽루진 레샤스 셴바디 아니 스탄다 수자 표짐 클럽루진 레샤스 아니 수직 카드라샤스 라빈베나 균제 여웨키 아니 셴나다 균제 메웨기 셴나닝 발라 체월 카리오레스 라샤스 셴바디기 아니 균제 메웨기 셴나다 균제 여웨기 셴나닝 발라 체월 카리오레 라샤스
진생 예비 신앙은 다 진라고 진 트레이닝이죠. 가도 아니 진생 매선 다가지 선바 동반하고 진찬의 신앙이 되니지로 다 진생 여 매선데 로 진생 산도 당사 그 지진라고 진 트레이닝 아니 진짜 되니 시당 현난 잘 쳐봐시라 문도 타파 도당 그 도쇼 선호당디 안티 진세 가면 선호 가면 매야 인터 그 도쇼 간디체네 아니 가르치는 현나체에서 소소소소 좋아질래 그러와 안티도 진세 여비 해산라버지 투위나 다들 이탄라보다 아니 들바 돈렌치네로 아니 기 현나 제고선 기타 첨부 자 첨부라지나 들 이야다 다기 첸 들바 돈렌치 당치나 로간라버지 레마도 현나 짠다 히비히비 진세 여메 쳐바시라문도 센 기타레야 다가라로.
So whether it is unreasonable or reasonable, fear is fear. But when we talk about what is reasonable or what is unreasonable, the one thing that I can think of is that if there is a real danger, physical danger out there in the world as the cause of your fear, then maybe to some extent we can say that your fear is reasonable. And sometimes even if there's no real danger out there or physical danger or is totally hypothetical, the fear, source of the fear is, then we can maybe to some extent say that that is unreasonable fear. So because of this nature of the causes of these two fears, the way we can kind of adopt the antidote to these two fears may be different.
nge pegi nan chi hewarwa chi nyomba chi chiran su jail jugun gudo na hena jena di junse yob hena re chiran su desa yen le du chu ne mena ya gongda nyega du de nyeje na le du yore sam hena jena junse me hena re de. So what I said was if a mad dog is chasing you and you develop fear, that is reasonable fear. If your school is in a place where there's no snake, but when you go to sleep, if you think there is a snake in your bedding, then there is unreasonable fear.
Well, I would kind of agree with it, but to me, I think it is your environment which confirms whether it is reasonable or unreasonable. So if I say this, it is falling down and I'm afraid, and you all are saying, no, it's not falling down, then it is an unreasonable fear. If it is, and you say it is falling down, then it is a reasonable fear. So it is very much the consensus of reality. Reality is determined by the consensus of, we don't really know the reality, but the consensus of others who would determine what reality is. For instance, if I say, I am the Dalai Lama, and you say no, then I'm going to land up in a mental hospital. But if you say yes, then I'm fine. Then I'm the Dalai Lama, no? So it is the consensus which really determines what is real, reasonable and unreasonable. Except, of course, sometimes the consensus can fail. If I am a man with two eyes among people who are blind, and there is something coming, and I say something is coming, and they say no, then is it reasonable or unreasonable? But they are blind, they can't see it. But generally, I would say it is the consensus of other people who confirm whether something is real or unreal. Fear.
Jada ani gunzen dembare maresia di ani kuryu ki nedan la ta gu yores ta tanda dela ani kuryu ki nedan la ta gu re sedu chambala ani tanda kirang ki ani shenang de thwa jam maimba mi yin le yebe ki ani mi changme ki ani di shenang je go ya ki jujin je la ta du min du ani dela ta gu yores jada ta pecha sha wen nge ki ani khangbe ki tho de ma sa yung gu dus la je shenang ke win bina an kirang chu ki di sagi min dus la na 아니 계란주 창매기 아니 얘기 깨져데 켈렌치 매워 금전데 계란주기 신앙 만통매 금전 때니 아니 얘기 금전데다 셰야디 신앙디 금전데 마차야 된다 대가능시 아니 계란주 창매기 데다 마사 용구 도스 라빈베나 아니 용장킨 투몽기 아니 따데라 켈렌 중앙 송장 아니 고 금전데베기 신앙 레스야 용구 요레스 대가능시 얘기가 여름부지 나가지나 아니 계란도 samay 가리다 야오름보치 라기로스 드네 라브임베나 아니 직진나 nga mengana li gire rochilas 아니 대가나시다 네기가 야오름보치 라두 잠발라 계란조기 아니 야오름보치 리다 라브임베나 아니 결혼도 상명이 칸툼버레스다 칸툼마두세 칸툼베면나 나 멤버다 아니 야와 메와 차두요레스다 가르 임바다 야와 메와 차두요레스 칸툼마두세 디시요레스 이나야 칸툼버 잠키 아니 우유니 주 이메세 디 땡구요 마레스 고 칸툼베임베나야 아니 상마 칸퉁에 상마 노르데와데 용구요레스 페샤샤나 아니 징강디 강바디 나로네 미니 유예 등아지 보지 결혼도 상마 샤라이나 아니 이 페니직 용구도스 라주 잠발 결혼 상마 용구 민도스 시리스 결혼 상마 용구 메와데 칸툼버데니 이나야 결혼서 믹샤르데 요베 금전 데네 아니 결혼수기 컨센스 두 잠발 투무게 타주 제샤와디 아니 노르와데니 용구 여러와스
I'd like to comment from the perspective of what I think Robin, who is supposed to be sitting up here, would comment. She's going to be here tomorrow. I really liked the first response. Fear is fear. Whether it's unreasonable or reasonable is a secondary judgment of whether that fear is fear. And I think one thing that could be a problem is that when we start judging the reasonableness versus the unreasonableness, we might have secondary emotions that are built upon the first emotion. For example, I may be very angry at myself because I got fear, because I was afraid of something that I thought was unreasonable to be afraid of. And then you might just keep going in this cycle where more and more emotions build up and happen, and then that could lead to problematic emotions or emotions that are unhelpful. So I think one thing we always got to remember is that it might be, if you're worried about whether a fear is unreasonable or reasonable, to bank on what was just said, you might want to check with somebody else. You might want to check with somebody you trust who you believe might be able to help you to figure that out, and that might be the best way to handle that fear.
생감 리바 야보지 고요나 텔레 차진 가른 성고요레스 테 생감 리바서야 데 야보질 치 가는다 버진 요고요레스
So this question is for Sudhir. So since you are a psychoanalyst, or to some extent you may have knowledge about psychology, so my simple question is that in order to become a very good psychoanalyst or a psychologist, what is the first most important condition?
Empathy. I'll go a little more than that.
Okay.
Because empathy is to be able to feel into other person's thoughts, feelings. You can never really become another person unless you are enlightened, but to be able to do that. But empathy is if you look at it as a mountain climb, then the last stage of what we call the enlightened, at least in the Hindu tradition of the enlightened, where there's no difference between I and you, that is the last one. That nobody or very few people reach. But there are 3 base camps on the way. And the first is tolerance. Tolerance is the first one. And tolerance means giving benefit of doubt to the others. That to me is tolerance. Then second is compassion. And even then stronger, there is empathy, which is even stronger going to the other. And the last one, you can see from that one the summit, but you won't reach it. So tolerance, compassion, and empathy, these would be the 3 which I would say a psychoanalyst or psychologist has to cultivate in himself or herself.
그래서 다디 아니 개체슈디 차진 개체슈디 카레스 라빈베나 아니 녜기 렌디 엠파티스야 디시그레스 다 엠파티스야 디 냠만주 규리아든 수낭로라 아니 셴조르키 아니 뉴바시게 소로 지동냠용수소 드네 규리어다 규르든 수낭로 이나야 미파조키 아니 네장 카리 임바디 아니 소수키 뇽토비아 아니 초르토비아 드네기 아니 ता निवायोवा 차진 요와디 아니 개체슈 차기요레스 다저다 아니 간주다 힌두 기토네 아니 계자셰빈베나 다키 군주 남중 간주 카르시리스 라빈베나 아니 지가 군주 기타 냠네 그낭로라 아니 림바도 마스베 아니 체토슈디 아니 다 지가 랑다신 야와메와 네레 투비아게 아니 체디 간주 냠네 그 체토슈 리요레스 그래서 다 랑다신 야와메와게 아니 냠네 그 체토데 말레비미나 디 말레베기 응라 아니 지가 냠네 그 차시 라타지 콤바도 마스베 아니 숨스요레스 당보도 가리스 라빈베나 tolerance야 소바스야 드레스 제가 아메 신베기치도 아니 소바 고미야스야 되다 디가는 니와디 아니 닝게드 티레스 닝게 구그레스야 somebody any empathy siya tanji chajin chi gwa ke che shuyin se de di shembe ke nedan khari imba di dinde imba de su su ke chor thobya thone ani chi rokba che da phendo che da dinzu sum ani yobi mena kiran simgam rigba wa yabu cha tu urdas
생각 리버마 시도 냐년라고 지냐고 해도 empathy din ani member ta dinjoro 봐줘도 나자 잡고 쉬우진 나 레오다 아니 그걸 로바다 디제여로 이나 시도 냐년로부터 가능해요.
So when we talk of the empathy and if you are a psychiatrist or he's saying doctor or maybe a psychiatrist, so if you say that you have to help the patient or you can help patients, that is understandable. But if you say empathy and you have to feel their suffering or the pain, whatever they are having. So what do you mean by that? Or how you do that, feeling suffering of the patient if you are a doctor or a psychiatrist?
That is the most difficult. I mean, how you do that, you don't know. How do you cultivate that? It's the same thing as I think Buddhists go through the training, a long period of that, of seeing, practicing earlier things, the tolerance much more, of the compassion much more, all going towards empathy. All these three things are really how much distance you have from the person. Tolerance, there is this much distance. Compassion, there is still distance between you and the other. Empathy, there is very little distance. You go in much more in the person. And in the last stage, in the Hindu one, where there's no difference at all. So that we don't think about it. How do you cultivate it is practice, wanting to, and I think meditation can help. I think meditation is, from what I know of, does help in cultivation of these things. But these are always not that you ever get it. These are always striving for. I mean, psychoanalysis itself always starts with that you are never going to know. So you start with unknowing all the time and be in the unknowing.
제자다 제고레 시두잠발라 제투요레 투구요 시기요 마레스 제고레 시기요레스 제자다 딜라두 잠발라 아네 페차샤비 메나 간죽 탄지 림바 시셰소 림바 당고데 톨린스 잠발라 아네 셴베기 체둘라 키란 소바 곰고르다 시두 잠발라 소바 곰비임베나 탄도 키란 다다 셴닝 팔라 장다 링부요레스 디기젤라 아네 닝지 곰 시두 잠발 장다 티스 통으로 침버드니 닝지 곰 토비임베나 콘줄라 닝지 제 토비임베나 아네 단도야 아네 장다 하디요레스 다 단도야 아니 다다 헨닝 그 파르도 아니 타 녀로 땅구 요빈베나 아니 그런 아니 엠파티스야 디 아니 곰구요레스 아니 콘주 내단도 그런 소 토비아 요와 제 소토비아 제구요레스 다 칸데스 제고레스 두삼발라 남규기 아니 다 지금 냠레 그릭든조 나신 찍버레스 든조 종달 제구요레 아니 곰리댐구요레 대가나시다 곰다 딘데 토네 아니 함다 냠레 제야요레스 제자 다 엠파티스야 디 강라 아니 간조 힌두 나로 칼리그스라나 아니 코타 코 냠네 시기네레 림바체 토슈디 아니 당신 옌메 시두 삼발라 아니 랑다 신니 아니 베데 직 모올 시기네레 직둔 대와 딘데 아니 다 냠네 제야 요레스 요레 시기 요레스 제자타 요레 라두 삼발라 니 치투 유싱메스
I think also emotions themselves and emotional understanding is a way to cultivate empathy. You can think about or remember the times when you've experienced a similar emotion or a similar situation and how that felt in yourself, and you're better able to understand what that person might be going through, even though the situation itself might differ. We all experience negative emotions. We've all had experience where we've suffered greatly, and you can, if you understand those, understand and can remember those experiences, you can take those and bring them forward and then use them to understand somebody else's pain and suffering.
진짜 다 엠파티스야 타니시도 콘주 타니디 아니 셴베기 동에다 셴베기 내단 초르고레스 디삼발라 직 칸데스 라기어스나 페차샤빈베나 아니 케란랑게마 아니 이무기 나자시니르 당한다 셈기 강이 동에 셈조르기 동에 용요빈베나 아니 셴발라 단다 강이 드가란 테되나 녜마 케란라 용와 디 셴베기 토네 di tembe tone o ta pajo de kange de tedu sabala dungi dindi ju dindi ji nyang yu samya di ha ko ne di tene ane pajo de rogba che da nyinge samji chik che da zur sigyo res che da dil sambala pajo ge di ke ane dungi yu ke ne dang di ane shemba da sorwa ha ko we tone pajo de rogba che bim na rogba ya ga che to bia da pendo che ang yu ge che yung yu wa song zang ane empathy se da zur ya ji ga simgam menje da zur na lo la ane ke chim bu sigyo res
ngadi meduli ro ani tangi korangi tangi dile treni tangi ke che dile treni yan tangi ngangda se ti ani kalore ngarge gi wangi se la di khande se gi ores pena jana ngarge shukchu bu ke ngarge shukchu bu ke wangi ngangda di ani minge ba chebe wangi ngangda di se la gi yorbe khande res chidang ngangda se de la thawla mangbo jora jin ba ngarge gi wangi ngangda se la jo imba za ngarge shukche wangi ngangda de shukchung ro ba inza ngangda de se la ge yorbes dende na pena chena miji la khondo saya di chaya tunda la ani miti la mibe ngazo gi nambe shuni shebe gi deja se jora chidang de khaga dugume do nambe shuni shebe deja de keba cheba la ngela yu de la mibe chumi ije gi namdo ji ke del habar do ta na del mite wo de begi sambashi li ge ro deja la di imba za miti la 미베기 아니 shedan kalore kondo kaya tela midela mibe chakpati kesuna digi yorbes kuni ani karjore logiki jinda mitumba sundaji chagi yorbe kande chagi yores.
This question is for Matthew, and this is also a continuation about the previous discussion that we had about anger and anxiety. So when you talk about generating anger as an antidote to anxiety, and can you tell us or tell me a little bit about how really works here? How really anger kind of acts against this anxiety? So, for example, is it the same? If I give an example, is it the same way that in Buddhist traditions, when we talk about this anger is one of the root negative emotions, and also if in order to reduce anger, if we try to generate attachment. So attachment normally, from our point of view, is a distorted view, mainly because the reason for attachment is kind of designated features that is not really there on the object of attachment. So if you try to generate attachment to reduce anger, will it be the same effect, or the process will be the same or not?
So I'll start out by let me give another example of that occurring that's probably more relevant right now. One might want to generate anger because they're fighting against something that's oppressing them, and I think a really good example, say there's somebody at the school is bullying your child, and you're a bit afraid to confront the parent of that other child. And so you think about that situation of your child being bullied, and it makes you feel motivated, and you overcome the anxiety, and you go and then help your child to actually not get bullied. And you can think of this, there's situations like the sports example might not have been a good one because it might not make sense to feel the anger. But in a lot of situations, it might be good to feel the anger because of the motivating force. It's really the energy, the motivation it creates to overcome these kinds of things that hold us back, so that we can go then do something that will help us. That's what I would say when and why anger might be helpful. Now, to take that to the second part of the question, I wouldn't necessarily say that you can generate negative emotions to always be an antidote to other negative emotions. I don't think that's the case. I think anger is a particular emotion where this comes up in Western society, and I think it does have to relate to how easy it is to generate anger. I keep coming back to that idea that anger is not that hard to generate. You all know this as well as I do, and you're practicing to try not to generate it. And I think a lot of people in the United States, in every society, they are trying to reduce their anger, and yet at certain times it might be useful to feel that anger. But I do absolutely agree that at some point, anger is going to be unhelpful. If it keeps going, if it keeps spinning your mind out, so all you can think about is that person bullying your child, that's the only thing you can think about day in and day out, it's not going to be so helpful to have that be the case, and you're going to have to figure out a way to stop that.
단지 아니 단단히 다 낭삽다 낭자기 님볼라 아니 공도된 거래 세저로다 그런 단지 앵거스기도 한 공도스기요 디된 거래 시두잠발라 아니 얘기 아니 지금 단다 심조르 님백 릭 된조 상말라 뇽몽 릭 된조 상말라 님보 아니 뇽몽 릭 셴바된 요레 시그메스 대가는시 아니 낭자기 릭 임베나 아니 낭자기 용기 만다 요레스 제가 낭자 릭 된조 상말라 아니 계란 디 님볼라 아니 앵거 공도된 용기 요레베스라나 용기 요마레스디 내당 봐 아니 만다 두레스 पेशासन 단지기 낭중앙자 그린중 리카시 가리용구 요르슬라빈베나 단지 पेशा오낭시레스 디가나시 니에게 पे셴바지 샤고스 키랑기 아니 부디 랍들 당구 요와 손장 아니 랍브레크 낭론 부셴바지 키랑 부들 히우 동구 요레스타 다 키랑 디 동고 손장 마기와 차레 디가나시 다 디강에데 상고 아니 부디기 파말지 라오삼나 야 파마디 소 투바 예그레삼제 아니 키랑지 셈라 마데야다 다 낭자기 사베야기 용구 요레스 제자 디좀다 제고 요나 메나스미야 딘데레두 잠발라 딘데게 값라 아니 키랑 공도 제비메나 공도 디게 아니 내단 가리메라 마도바 아니 키랑 부 강에 디 아니 부 셴바 동딩이 디게 파말파 셰토비아 아니 야 랍달라야 아니 셰토비아 딘데기 아니 키랑 군론디 konzo motivation sigido kuran kita niba sigine kuno sine di ene tigi yores kesa ditewe gyumzen tene ene kirang dingo na chema do ki chawaji che tobya ki ene pendo yungu yo wasonza ane 단지 ene ngantra ki rikashi ki nyembola ane nge kongdo se de yores love is inaya ane kongdo ten di ane bed muntune ane tembimbena yago yorebesona yago yomares ko simzur ngembe ri yemba sonza ko mangbo tembimbena ane di 마음에 디우디 풀라 아니 노예치미시 아니 페야딘데 요마레스 아디가나시 키랑 단지 아니 공도 그 잡라 아니 징 도샤라서 와든 좀 님보된 요레스라나 아니 디 차바 요마레스 아니 심줄 님베 릭 시그너라 뇽몽 릭 임베나 도자 컨트롤단 로가 요레 공도 컨트롤단 로가 요레 스페셜나 공도 세야디 케베나 그거 차직데 카리 요레슬라비메나 차월은 죽주야 아니 군론제 토비야케 아니 네바 요데와 딘데 조레스 티가나시 코 아니 켈라베 크랑시 요레스 콘도스야 디 아니 키나 야 랑야라 아니 마무 고르금도 와스 지금 안주 아리 예갑다 도와 카와임베나다 콘도 디 아니 켈라오시고 차디요레 디 아니 티가나시 마 땅진 체알 임베나야 아니 카고시고 차디요 제자 코 뇽몽 그리든 좀 만다 요레 랑시 만다 요레 칠레 만다 요레 제자 딜라도 좀 바디기 펜도 요베나 뇌 임벤도 정말 로가 요레 팽기 도민도 내단 로가 요레 딘줄 따고 요레스